Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Lupus Foundation of America's Facebook Live series of reports from the 2017 American College of Rheumatology annual scientific meeting here in beautiful San Diego. Although right now it appears that it's our beautiful weather has sort of temporarily disappeared and we're about to get some rain, but it's been gorgeous here. But anyway, this is the final interview of our series that we've been doing throughout these last couple of days, where we've been discussing research programs or research studies about lupus that have been presented here at the conference. So with me today is Dr. Susan Manzi. Dr. Manzi is with the the West Penn
Allegheny Health Network.
Allegheny Health Network in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She's the director of the Lupus Center there, and she also happens to be the medical director for the Lupus Foundation of America. So welcome, having you with us today.
Dwayne.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
So what we'd like to begin to do, and since this is our wrap-up, that's the title of this is a wrap, can you just sort of tell us what studies you have found during your couple of days here regarding lupus and what you've learned?
So, Dwayne, I always think every meeting is exciting, but this meeting has definitely been the year for lupus. So a lot of exciting things. Let me tell you a few that are the highlights from my perspective. A lot of it's around treatment, because we have a need for better treatments in lupus. So 2 companies have presented some of their data that are very exciting. One is a medication called ustekinumab. That's a hard thing to pronounce. You probably know it on TV as Stelara. It's a medication that's already approved for use in psoriasis and in Crohn's disease. But there was a study that just came out now of over 100 patients with lupus that have shown impressive results in terms of decreasing disease activity, significantly more in the people on Stelara than those on routine background treatment, which is what we normally give for patients with lupus. Great buzz around that.
Wonderful.
We're keeping our fingers crossed because now they're going to go into larger trials.
Right, phase 3 trials?
Phase 3 trials. This was a phase 2B trial. The other company is Celgene. They have a product. It's just a letter name now. It's called CC220, and it's a all of these medications are really targeted at decreasing the inflammation and immune attack on self. They did a smaller study, and they looked at the response of the drug to skin rashes improving as well as global activity, and they found, again, significant differences in the people on this agent. So we are very hopeful, and there's a lot of other buzz out there as well, but these 2 really got a lot of attention this year.
Well, that's really good news, because as we all know, there aren't very many approved FDA treatments for lupus that specifically were developed for lupus or that have an indication for lupus. Most of the medications we use for lupus are off-label or have been grandfathered in, and it's good news that we may have some more additional ones. Was there anything else as far as that you've learned here that you thought you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, so last year we saw some exciting news on a drug called anifrolumab. It's hard to pronounce, but so this is an agent that targets interferon, and interferon alpha is a marker of inflammation, and it causes a lot of attack on self in patients with lupus. So it's anifrolumab. Sorry about that. It's been a long week. But anifrolumab, so it targets interferon alpha. The bottom line is that this drug showed great response last year, but the question was, who responds to this drug versus people that don't? And this year they presented data where we can actually do a blood test, measure levels of this interferon alpha in your blood, and determine whether or not you may or may not respond to the medication, which is really good because then it allows us to target the medication to the right person. Other thing that was exciting is about hydroxychloroquine. So a lot of our patients are on hydroxychloroquine and Plaquenil. They always get their eye exams every year, and there's sometimes concern about blindness or loss of vision. And a study that showed over 2,000 patients that there really was no increased risk of blindness from hydroxychloroquine, but you still need your eye exams because lupus patients may have other reasons why. They may have diabetes or other diseases that can cause problems with their vision. So still get your eye exams, but hydroxychloroquine appears to be safe in terms of eye disease.
Now, as a clinician and a scientist, when you go back and you see many patients, you're one of the leading lupus clinics in the country. How will you use the information gained here at AACR in your practice?
So I think, well, first of all, I like to give my patients hope, Dwayne. I want to be able to tell them, don't despair. There are so many companies invested now in drug development for lupus. So we do have some good things that we're using, but I always say hang in there, because if this doesn't work, we've got some coming down in the pipeline. Obviously, eye exams, I tell my patients to get their eye exams. I'm still going to do that, but I will give them some peace that they don't have to worry as much about the effects of hydroxychloroquine. And I also tell them that we're also going to get better at personalized medicine. That means giving the right drug to the right patient and not having to try things that may not be good for them. And these biomarker studies are markers where you draw blood and you check to see whether it may be determining whether a drug will work or not, are really exciting. And one other final thing I have to talk about, which I'm excited about too, is we're learning a lot about something called the microbiome. The microbiome is actually the bacteria that normally live in your own intestines. So in our guts, we always have a certain level of bacteria. What we're finding is in certain lupus patients, when there's a disruption in the types of bacteria in the gut, they may be more likely to have activity of their disease or a flare in their disease. So we're now going to be, people tell you to take your probiotics and everyone's concerned about that. There's going to be a lot more to come in that area.
That's really good news, and that's another way of we're learning how to better manage the disease and to prevent flares and disease activity. Well, Dr. Manzi, we thank you very much for your time. I know that there's probably a few more sessions to go, some sessions tomorrow morning, but most of the lupus sessions are done.
Absolutely.
And this has been great news, really, really great news. So from the American College of Rheumatology Conference 2017 in San Diego, I'm Dwayne Peters signing off for the Lupus Foundation of America. The next year's conference will be in late October, I believe, and it's in Chicago. So obviously a lot different in the weather between San Diego and Chicago. But we look forward to that, and there will be some other conferences during the year that we'll be reporting on. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.